What's up, everybody? So this is going to be kind of a potential little mini-series thing called, What You Think. And it's going to be on one faction, overarching faction, think Codex style of faction, per ramble. And I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think about the particular faction, and of course, ask you all what are your thoughts on this particular faction. And I thought I'd kick it off with the Tau. I enjoyed the Tau. I think they're pretty cool. And I think, as this little series concept is, I think of them as kind of a pretty unique faction in 40k. Of course, visually, they have clear yet somewhat subtle Asian slash anime overtones to them. And from there, they have a very interesting way of conducting their warfare. Now, this isn't going to be going in depth into anything. I'm not going to go in depth into the faction rules or point costs type stuff or stat lines or anything like that, or anything in regards to special characters or anything. Just overall thoughts, correlations, in some cases, maybe theories. Although I don't think I have any real theories for the Tau at the moment to go over here. But stuff like that. And I want to kick it off by stating I really do feel the Tau to be particularly unique. In fact, one of the more unique factions in the 40k universe. They fit in with the formula of the 40k universe, but for me, they fit in just barely. There's enough there that they don't feel out of place, but they definitely are close to it, I feel. And it's not a bad thing, it's just they are very different, I feel, from other factions. Even the Tyranids, who truly are the alien of aliens because they come from beyond the galaxy. So, with that said, the Tau are a young race in the fluff and everything, and have achieved a lot in their short time period. So, firstly, I want to tackle the notion of the Tower, the good guys in 40k. I don't agree with that. I think 40k is one of those genres where there are no good guys. It's just pick your poison type of setup. I will say this: the Tau are probably the nicest of the factions, if I had to put nice as a term to one of them, but it doesn't mean good. They still follow an ultimatum. It's not like if they encountered an independent Xenos faction or an independent human world that was cut off from the Imperium and they were the first to discover it. It's not like if they put forth the idea of joining them and the planet declined, wishing to stay its own thing, its own entity, and just stay out of stuff and try and stay hidden or whatever. It's not like Tau would just honor that and go. With the Tau, it's basically join us or die. And that's fine. It's very 40k, and that's part of why they fit. But if you do join them, they do very much give the option to join them. So if you do join them, you have the Tau Empire basically backing you up, if you will. There is the concept that maybe they will sterilize a population or whatever the case is, but they're not going to just slaughter you, kill you, work you to death in a slave factory or anything like that. You could be worse off for sure with another force taking you over. So that's why I would rank the Tau as one of the nicest factions in 40k. So that's kind of at odds with the rest of the 40k, which is kill it with fire if it's not us, or just eat it all, in the case of Tyranids. So you have that. Their technology is also pretty interesting in the 40k spectrum because it's new technology. Now, the Necrons, I still stand by them having the most advanced technology and being the most advanced technologically in 40k, period. But it's ancient technology. Not saying that Necrons may not develop something new. They might have the cryptex to whip something up. But their magic is so advanced it borders on sorcery. The Eldar may whip something up too, but a lot of it's Wraithbone constructs that they're dusting off when waking up. I'm making gross generalizations here. I know that. Just bear with me. The Imperium is so technophobic, even with the Mechanicum, that they follow procedure of worshipping technology. All this being from the fallout from the Dark Ada technology in the past. And they may do things here and there, but what they do is basically improve upon an old design or try to update an old design. Something purely brand new is few and far between and treated with skepticism at best by the majority of stuff in the Imperium. A lot of that is, check out this thing we found. It's ancient, but it's amazing. That's kind of the Imperial way. Orcs are just primitive technology. They cobble things together, and either it works or it blows up in their face, and the orcs laugh anyway, because they're orcs. Again, gross generalizations. Tyranids don't have any technology per se, and chaos, a lot of it is just demonic infusion with something. So, really, the Tau are different and refreshing in a way because their technology is new. They're a young race. They do R&D, and they actually pursue it wholeheartedly. It's not something that is done on a whim or done out of pure desperation, like you could argue some stuff in the Imperium is made, but more so truly trying to research, develop, and improve upon their tech. They're very logical in their thought. Their Earth caste, being a caste-based system, is their scientists and builders and whatnot, and they really do make things to improve upon the old. They are not resting with their tech. They're not scared of it. They do not have any type of concerns with tech heresy like the Mechanicum and the Imperium does. They are not what's the word I'm looking for? Superstitious, that's the word. Not superstitious about anything tech related. They pursue it as this is something we made as a tool to better us. Our advanced AI drones are just that, drones, and we use them to better us, to help us, to protect us. And that's how they develop things. And it's a nice, refreshing, kind of realistic, modernish approach to technology in 40K. And they very much bring the sci-fi in the sci-fi genre that 40K ultimately is. And I say that because you can label 40K as sci-fi, and you can easily label it as sci-fantasy. It's definitely sci-fi in there, and there's definitely fantasy elements in there. We got the Grey Knights. I know they're Space Marines, but there's the concept of knights and demons and orcs in space, the Eldar being equated to elves in space. You got a lot of fantasy-esque elements going on here. And the Tau are the pure, cold, logical sci-fi approach to this in 40K. It would be like if Star Wars and Star Trek existed in the same universe. You'd have the way Star Wars does things being the way kind of like the rest of 40K is, and then Star Trek would be very much like how the Tau are. And I'm not saying it's a one-to-one correlation. It's just if you know those two genres, you know how different they approach things and how they do things. That is my best correlation I can give. So that's kind of how the Tau are. They're really logical, and I think, rational based. And Dawn of War 1, I forget if it was Soulstorm or whatever the expansions, when you're Tau and you defeat the Sisters of Battle, you have to destroy their shrines to basically drop this shield of unkillability and ultimately defeat their living saint and their base. And this, in the post-action report type of deal with that mission, when you're Tau, the Tau try to look at the ruins and the stuff left behind by the defeated sisters and reverse engineer. They think this is some type of shielding technology that they want to have, not really giving the idea of faith doing it, more tech doing it. And I find that kind of refreshing in 40K, that they approach things so that, okay, how can we make this? There has to be something technologically based here. And in the case of the sisters, it's faith-based, and it wasn't, but still, they went looking for something technological. It's not that they're ignorant necessarily of psyker capability or fighting against demonic things. They just look at it on a more logical level. So that's pretty cool. With that, without going into it, if you were to take modern military tactics and strategy and boil it down to a miniature war game, make gross generalizations and simplify it and all that into a miniature war game, you would have something that is very reminiscent of the Tau. Tau paint targets with their marker lights for support. The Tau utilize long-range fire support. The Tau utilize force multipliers when it comes to shooting and squad-based stuff that way, and basically look to maximize their main strength, which is ranged combat, which, you know, is something you kind of do in any type of modern military strategy game. You try to maximize that ranged combat, and in a miniature war game, that's what the Tau do. They have auxiliaries, and they do have Farsight and some other exceptions to this that really do pursue close-in assault-style melee. But by and large, when you explain the Tau to somebody, you say that they're the shooting faction. Their expertise is in shooting. They seek to buff their shooting. They're weak in close combat. That's the generalization of the Tau. And I like that because, again, it goes against the mold that is the 40k MO for factions. If you look at every other faction, not only do you have dedicated units to the assault, you have assault upgrades for a lot of squad leaders and all of your commanders virtually. Look at the Necrons, war scythes, staves, abilities from the crit tech and all that. Tyranids got their talons, orcs got being orcs, basically. You have it all that way. You can give your Devastator Sergeant a Power Fist if you wanted to, or Twin Lightning Claw, I believe, in certain codices. Really at odds with the fire support role. So, in those regards, you can see a lot of assault upgrade capability throughout armies. Not so with the Tau. It's part of that whole technological approach, colder logic, R&D, making themselves better approach to warfare. It's why I say they kind of just about fit into the mold of 40k in the 40k universe for tabletop wargaming. They're there. They got the auxiliaries to help them with that. They got Farsight and some other units and just raw capabilities of a battlesuit squad slamming into an Imperial Guard guardsman squad, right? The battlesuits are going to have an advantage there. Higher strength, higher toughness, better save. So it's not like they can't get things done in close combat when push comes to shove. It's not what their war gear upgrades and capabilities really allow them to do. You know, marker lights upping their chance at, you know, killing you in range or calling in fire support really epitomizes their shooting ways, their shooting expertise. So that, again, is why I kind of look at them as kind of unique and different and standing out amongst the 40k factions. You got a lot of stuff kind of different here. Now, you have a lot of interesting lore. You know, the cast system, do ethereals control the cast via pheromones or something latent within them? Is that why Farsight, having been so removed from ethereals for so long, became an independent kind of enclave? You know, there's a lot of theories there that I'm not going to go into. And a lot of capability lore-wise for pursuing the Tau. But by and large, really what we have here is a faction, in my opinion, that is probably the most different from the rest. The standard formula of 40k, it fits into, but isn't kind of the design. Like, you can build a pure shooting Tau list and just stay away from close combat as best you can with shooting and backing up and doing whatever you can and having sacrificial plays, whereas other forces will build and can build purely to be offensive and aggressive and assaulting. And the Tau, if you did that, you probably have a bad time, in my opinion. Anyways, that's what I think about the Tau. I view them as kind of a unique force. I like them. There's more I could say on Tau, but that'll come for another time. We don't have their codex yet. I'm really actually interested to see what their codex does for them when it comes out for 8th edition. And I'm hoping it kind of keeps what I feel embodies the Tau way of doing things as a faction. And I think it will. Anyways, what are your thoughts? Thanks for sticking through this long-winded ramble here. Any question, comments, or requests, leave it in the comments section. And until next time, take it easy.